Okay, thank you guys for watching again. I'm actually going to pause. I said I was going to do the elf deck next, but I'm waiting. I got cards coming in on that. There are just some staples I need for that deck, and I don't want to make the video only to add to it. So today, I'm going to talk about my upgrades to my Aragorn, the Uniter deck. I have been trying for so long to get this deck right, so I just play it constantly. Pretty much my only deck right now that I've been playing. It's 4 mana. Basically, you play a white, you get a token, 1/1. You pay a blue, you get to scry 2. You play a red, you deal 3 damage to an opponent, and you cast a green, you get +4/+4. So the idea of the deck is to play as many multicolor spells as possible. I wasn't doing that, that's why I removed some of these cards. They were one color. Also, my mana curve was insanely high. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5s, and I had 2 6s and 4 X cards. It's a lot. So I lowered the curve, and I'm kind of going to go over roughly what I removed. This isn't a 1-for-1. These are just overall. So I removed Bane of Progress. It is a great card. It can get really, really strong, but I have a lot of good artifacts and enchantments in here, especially enchantments that I don't want to lose. If I play them, I want them to be out. There's a lot of card draws, stuff like that. So I got rid of this. 6 mana instead. I put Skull Clamp. It's not a color, I know, but everybody targets my commander almost immediately or within a few turns, so I would at least like to draw 2 cards when it goes bye-bye. I needed some more targeted removal in here. All I had was a Generous Gifts, a Beast Within, and an Aura Shard. So I threw in a Chaos Warp. It's another 3 mana that lets me get rid of any permanent, and I replaced that with Zoanthrope. It's from the Warhammer 40k set. I needed flying, and I like this card. I like the set, so I threw it in, but it's just too many X's, like I said, and this is more guaranteed, so I put that in. I also got rid of Maw-Claw because it was double color, which did help, but it was X, which is a lot. And although it gets rid of one thing, I just wanted to play something easier, so I threw a Swords to Plowshare in. I'm getting rid of Elven Course to actually put in the Elf deck, but also because it's just 4 mana to cast creatures. I don't have that many creatures in here. This card is not going to proc that often. There's about 20 creatures in here, so not really worth it to me. So I got another Path to Exile. Another removal with Path to Exile. Also got rid of Thornwield Archer. I just had this because it had Reach and Death Touch, and it was a color, but this is kind of a throwaway card, and every time I look at it more and more, I seem to realize that. So I put in Stroke of Midnight, another targeted removal. So if you're counting now, I have 4 different versions to get rid of basically any permanent with Beast Within, Generous Gift, Stroke of Midnight, and and Chaos Warp. The reason I did that is because I have a lot of draw and search in here, and I hate that I had to put it in and search for removal, because I had to search for removal, sometimes couldn't play it, still dealt with the threat, or all I did was search, play the removal to get rid of one thing, and I was still behind. So I just wanted to over-represent removal in here, so it's just like one thing that's out of my mind, especially because I have access to the best colors. Fog Bank was another throwaway. I just needed, honestly, flying, but it's really forcing this deck. I don't like it, so another piece of removal with Helioid's Intervention. It's great. I could choose to double my life if I need it, or destroy an artifact or enchantment. Perfect. Another go wide. Last March of the Ants was another one. I love this card. I love that I pulled it, but now that I'm making an elf deck, I can feel like get rid of it and use it in that, where that deck will be going wide. So this card will really pump off. This deck, like I said, not that many creatures, and it costs 8. So I threw in a Broker's Charm. It's not the best card in the world, but, I mean, you could argue it's a downgrade. I get it. I know Last March of the Ants is good, but I just want the 3 triggers in this deck, and getting a counter, putting +4, and scrying would be really nice. I can choose to destroy an enchantment if I want, so again, I don't have to, another layer of removal, draw 2 cards. I'll probably never do the first one. Fighting is not really like what I need to do with this card, but I have the option. I also got rid of the Great Henge. I know, but it costs 9 mana. I don't have a lot of creatures in here, and it's only green. Ooh, sorry about that. I have a little focusing issue. Let's see. There we go. And it only adds green. I know it's going to draw a card, but again, I don't have that many creatures in here, so I'd rather use it in another deck. Finally, this slot, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to put in, quite frankly. So I was thinking about it, and I went with Bant Charm. It's another 3 mana. It'll help out all my stuff. And I could choose to counter an instant, destroy an artifact, or put a creature on the bottom. So it's just another piece of interaction. I know it's not the best card in the world, but I just like the option, and I like that it procs the tri-proc. My last card I was going to add, going back and forth, I'm going to do Morgul Knife. It gives my card 1/1, my card, whatever I equip, which is pretty much going to be Aragorn, +1/+1, trample, and lifelink. And then I can give permanents my opponent's control. I can make them lose, hexproof, and indestructible for 1. Costs 2 to equip. Freaking phenomenal. Look at that art, by the way. This one is going to replace Beast Whisperer. I know Beast Whisperer is good. It'll let you draw cards, but if you play a lot of creatures, better in my elf deck, tribal, and draw. So, the 2 cards I was debating about putting in were 4 Aerlingus. It's another X, 2 colors though. And it would have let me put out X 2/2 red humans with haste and trample. It also makes me a monarch whenever one of my creatures deals damage. I don't really care about the monarch thing. It's cool. It's very Aragorn-y, but I'm not, in love with it. And it costs X, so that can get a little tricky. This card, go to all creatures your opponents control. Until next turn, those creatures can't block. Taunt from the Rampart 5. This is a really good finisher, and you could argue that I need finishers in my deck. I'm going to play this a few times, and I might replace Heliod's Intervention with this. I don't know if I need that much removal, and double life, although it's nice, it's another X. I think I'd rather play this because if this goes off, I have a really good chance to close the game, which is something I struggle with in this deck because I don't have like the stereotypical, Finale of Devastation or Craterhoof Behemoth, something like that. So I might switch out this card just to finish it, but I'll let you know, and maybe I'll put up a little short. So thank you for watching. I just wanted to roll through that really quick. I know I've been throwing down a lot of long videos lately, and just talk about the replacements I made. I'm going to test it out tomorrow. I'll see how it goes. And then next week, I will have a video for you on my Simic Elf deck with Galadriel as the commander and a little Ring Temps You sub theme. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.